shadowy figure, not a very attractive man, very well spoken, very plausible, with his eyes very much on the throne for himself. Do you agree with that?
It is, yes, I do.
Virgil reports of him, and I take this extract only as one, by way of an example, that the multitude said that the Duke did the less persuade Richard of Gloucester from usurping the throne by the means of so many mischievous deeds, with the intent that he, Richard, afterwards being hated both of God and man, might be expelled from the same, so that himself, Buckingham, called by the Commons to that dignity, whereunto he aspired by all means possible. And there are reports from More and from others of his...
Are we believing More at this point, sir?
No, I'm just asking the question, if I may, please.
If the statement has gone on so long, I'm now entirely unclear as to the question.
There are reports, are there not, from others as well, of his disliking Richard's gaining the crown rather than himself?
Retrospectively, yes.
Buckingham, of course, could not gain the throne if the princes remained alive. Can I establish with you some facts as to dates, please? The coronation took place on the 9th of July, 1483.
Unlike you, I have not, I'm afraid, refreshed my memory precisely.
Never mind, 6th of July, I am corrected from behind. Shortly after that date, Richard set out with his wife, the Queen, on a kind of royal progress through Windsor, Oxford, to Gloucester, where he arrived by the 29th of July and stayed till the 2nd of August. Is that right?
You are telling me.
I'm asking
I'm
you a
sorry,
question.
I do not have this information at my fingertips. Being a modern historian, I am used to using, as it were, little things in books as you did to put it together. Carry on.
Yes. Let's assume that I'm correct, if I may.
It's dangerous, but I will.
Very well, but then I won't trouble with the rest of that line of questioning. Let me just ask you something then, please, about More. We concentrate on Tyrrell, because it is said by More, who was a lawyer, as you pointed out, that Tyrrell, upon his accusation of treason, was examined and confessed in the manner above written, but whether the bodies were removed, they, because the passage refers to both Tyrrell and Dighton, could nothing tell.
He is using, I'm afraid, a paperback edition. The thing is here, yes.
I was using one that I've obtained from a library, published in 1883.
It's very out of date, I'm sorry. The standard edition is the one before me. Would you like to establish
well, it
a paper
matters not.
reference?
What are the words?
I'm so sorry to use an edition which is out of date. Lord, the words are, Tyrrell and Dighton were examined and confessed in the manner above written, i.e. relating to the death of the princes, but whether the bodies were removed, they could nothing tell. On the following page, More recites that Dighton is still walking free. I forget the exact words, but he'll catch his just deserts in the end. Something to that effect.
True.
Walketh on alive.
I beg your pardon?
Walketh yet on alive.
Alive. But it finishes with, well, somebody will catch up with him in the end.
In good possibility that it be hanged ere he die.
Ere he die. Now that's written in 1513.
Probably 21, sir.
Or later.
If you'd use a more recent edition, you would have seen that the likely terminal date is the execution of Buckingham's son in 1521, at which time More wrote a work which cites large passages of this
Well,
in a
then you
deeply
make my
serious
point
work.
even more valid. It's not, as I was thinking, 9 years after the time of the trial of Tyrrell for treason. It's even longer than that.
Certainly,
Possibly
yes.
as
Right
much
into the
as
1520s, certainly.
18 or 19 years after the trial for treason. But Dighton was never tried for treason.
Why should he have been? The
No.
treason on which Tyrrell was arraigned was not the treason of the murder of the princes in the Tower.
Can you confirm to me, please, that Dighton was not tried for treason?
There's no evidence of the fact. Nor
Exactly,
Tyrrell
sir.
was not tried on this issue, sir. Tyrrell was tried not on the grounds of that confession, but because of his alliance with the de la Pools.
Yes. I was
Therefore,
going
I'm
to...
afraid you're confusing the issue utterly and not for the first time.
Well, now,
Thank you so much, Mr. Starkey.
Dr.
I
Starkey.
shan't ask... I'm so sorry, Dr. Starkey. I shan't ask any further questions.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Starkey. Well, as I indicated, that's my last witness, and therefore that is the case for the prosecution.
I think this would be a convenient moment for an adjournment. So the court will now stand adjourned.
If your lordship pleases, members of the jury, it now falls for me to open the case on behalf of the defence. Really, we have one contention only to lay before you, namely that two views can be taken on every point that is raised by the prosecution. Those are honestly held views, and you'll hear them from the witnesses that I shall call. And in due course, I shall respectfully suggest to you that they are valid views. As I say, it's better that you hear those from them than from me. I'm going to call three witnesses in all. Lady Wedgwood, who is an art historian, who will show you how quickly, not Tudor propaganda or Tudor legend, but Tudor tradition, as it eventually became, painted in black and white only, Richard III, wholly black, and Henry VII, wholly white. How that was created in her field, how persuasively it was presented, and how persistently its echoes remain even to today. I shall then call an archivist to deal with the question of the pre-contract between Edward IV and Eleanor Butler. She will tell you that it is her view, despite what Dr. Pollard told us, that that raised a real issue then, and still indeed does today. Now, the third witness that I shall call is Mr. Potter, who is chairman of the Richard III Society, who will deal with Richard the man, presenting a rather different picture from that which was presented by the first of my friend's witnesses, who will explain why it was that Richard acted as he did, why it may have been, because we do not claim, our witnesses, to be versed with the answers to all questions at all. They will not speak anything like as positively as those who have been called by my friend. He will speak also of Buckingham, that rather dark, mysterious double dealer of the period. Because would you bear in mind, please, that you are considering a period only between April, in effect, and August of 1483, the whole of Richard's life prior to that time not in the company of Buckingham, and the whole of his life after that time not in the company of Buckingham. His behaviour is criticised only within that short space of time, while Buckingham too is upon the scene. Then I make it absolutely clear, so there's no misunderstanding from the start, that our case does not depend upon proving that Buckingham was the culprit. That's not the